happy, but not so much on the football field because Liverpool went to the Etihad in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup and were vanquished, humiliated, routed, punched in the face, kneed, headlocked,
decapitated,
chewed and spat out, all that stuff. Double S. It was Manchester City 4, it was Liverpool 0. And I'm joined today, pick the bones out of that, what it means. We're not going to spend too much time talking about the match, but everything surrounding it, by Mr. Samage.
Good afternoon. Happy Easter, everyone.
And JSS.
Greetings. Hope all is well.
Now, Mr. Samage, normally I'd ask, how was your weekend? But we speak off the pod, surprise, surprise. And you have some news to share, do you not?
Yes, had a great bank holiday weekend. I got engaged over the weekend. So, yeah, very happy with that.
Tremendous.
To the lovely Sabrina.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
Big up Sabrina
Give her a
every
shout out.
time. She's got a good one there. And it looks like you had a fresh trim for the occasion. You are smiling
This was not
in
for
a
the FA Cup
paincast.
final. No.
he did get the trim for the quarterfinal. But
Definitely
absolutely
not.
thrilled for you, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know, nothing to ease the pain of a 4-0 humiliation like an engagement. So
That is
I'm
very
glad,
true. That's very true.
first of all, that you were able to wipe away the pain of defeat very quickly, and secondly, that Sabrina did the right thing and said, "Yes, why not?"
Yeah,
have you got any?
Plus, she's been to Anfield as well. So
Okay, she's a good.
Yeah, and despite taking her to Anfield for a 3-0 routing to Nottingham Forest, A, she's still stuck with you, and B,
Got a 3-0.
She seems to be a Liverpool fan.
Okay, good stuff.
yeah, that game in November when we didn't think it could get much worse, but yeah, she's still stuck by. So she's a good one.
Maybe it's kind of a sympathy.
Well, at least she knows you're loyal to stick around for that.
I didn't mean the fact that she agreed to marry you. I didn't mean the fact she agreed to marry you. Yeah, 3-0, better say yes. No, I meant the fact that she still decided to follow Liverpool after that.
There you go. Yeah.
No, but
thank you very much,
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And warm welcome to everyone joining us on YouTube and watching back on the podcast engine of your choice. Afterwards, make sure you give us a 5-star rating, follow us, hit that notification bell so you know we're live. You know what to do. And JSS, you had an equally thrilling weekend, did you not? No, you didn't.
Wouldn't say equally, but me and a few friends went to Centre Parks, and we had a nice time.
You didn't get down on one knee, did you?
No. In the words of Jay-Z, me give my heart to a woman, not for nothing, never happened. I'll be forever. I'm joking. No.
He's a lifetime player, this one. He's a lifetime player. You can't take him out of the game.
One day, maybe.
His shirt.
Yeah.
You got to be like Salah and retire your shirt one day, mate.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, we'll see. I'll surprise you one day. You never know. So yeah, we just did that and few activities. Yeah, it was nice and relaxing. Just end up being on the deck, just cooking and stuff and listening to music. It was just talking. It was great.
Nice. Were you doing the cooking, JSS?
I did a bit. Yeah. I can cook a mean Johnny Jollof. You got to taste it.
All right.
Don't ask questions. Just.
So you could knock up something for our Champions League winning celebration.
Oh yeah, for Budapest. Yeah, a Budapest road trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, or maybe not. And for myself, I was away with the girls and with Mumsy. Went to Milan, and so we did Monday to Thursday. Friday was recovery time. Saturday, getting up with misplaced optimism to watch the team get pummeled. Quickly got over that, and then DJ the wedding Sunday, and in between just lots of life admin. Yeah, so I feel like the weekend just went like that.
Yeah,
back at work tomorrow. But the thing is, when you're so busy, it helps numb the pain, doesn't it, guys? Because as I said, Manchester City.
Oh man.
Weirdly, I went into that game and I remember messaging the 4 or 5 Liverpool group chats I'm in, messages of optimism and hope.
Yeah.
And completely misplaced, but completely misguided. There was no foundation for me to be optimistic. But somehow, somewhere, I found morsels of optimism behind the sofa, and they were dashed. It was horrible. It was terrible. It was despicable. But yet, I felt no pain, guys. Double S, did you feel the pain?
Not really, because I think on one of the group chats I'm in with you, I posted, and I think some people thought it was a joke. I said that Slot has converted me. No, yeah, Slot has converted me from a believer to a doubter. And I
Unlike
got a
Klopp,
few
who converted us from doubters to
exactly.
believers.
And I thought, and people, I think, well, Mike, gave me a thumbs up or 100%. Everyone just get laughing emojis. I'm thinking like, I'm actually being serious,
You're
guys.
very real. Yeah.
And this is a pre-match, right? Then obviously, as the match unfolded, that statement didn't seem so funny anymore, did it? So, yeah. So, and I'm like, yeah, that's for me. Even with the match, there's not really much to say about the match. We haven't said already. And this is the thing. I mean, if we can just jump right into it, just briefly, it's like we as Liverpool fans, we are quite patient, right? And of course, he won the league last year, and there's other situations that happened, blah 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 blah. I get all of that, and I'm not trying to minimize it at all. Please don't mistake me for that. But some people say the malaise started post Ibiza, right? Just some people say that. I'm going to be generous.
Wait. For people with short memories, we're talking about after Liverpool won the league at a canter with like a month to go, and Arne Slot was seen raving up in Ibiza, right? That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, and the players were in Dubai, and that was just. I mean, we still had games to go. We still had points to be won for, right? So we could have been a 90-point team. But anyway, that's another story, right? Some people say that. I'm going to be generous and say the malaise started at Crystal Palace. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say that, right? And
Crystal Palace this season or Charity Shield?
Crystal Palace this season. Charity Shield, I can't. It is what it is, right? But I'll say we could, the last minute goal, blah blah blah. Let's just say the delay started there. That was at the beginning of October. Okay, so if you think about it, yeah, that's been 6 months. He's had 6 months to turn it around. Has he got better or has he got worse? Honestly, no one can tell me he's got better. And I'm not saying he has to win every game, whatever. I always say that, but you have to show us something, some kind of improvement, and he hasn't shown us anything. So, should we give him another £200 million in the summer and give another 6 months in the hope that he can start it again? We've got players, we've got a captain saying they gave up. They gave up.
Honestly,
Let me read you those comments from Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
Honestly,
so he says, I've been repeating myself too many times. Obviously, it goes in the media because I'm here all the time. Sounds like he doesn't want to be doing these post-match interviews.
Well, why would you? Don't blame him.
He says, we let our fans down today. We let ourselves down and the manager. But we let our fans down. Up until the penalty, maybe not. But the way we played, especially in the second half, that must hurt for everyone. It definitely hurts me. So the focus now is on Paris away, but it's tough. It will be a tough Sunday to digest it. He goes on to say that he's going to be with his family. That's the most important thing. And that's a difficult thing to take. But when you hear those kind of comments from the captain, that makes you think, what, Mr. Sandwich?
It confirms to me something I've touched on before and something that I've been really worried about, that the players, they're not playing for the manager. And there's just no, and I think I've said it on this show as well, like, there's just no other result. Like, once the players aren't playing for the manager, like, they're not, like, you can't sack 22, 25 people. Like, you just can't. So, like, the manager's got to go. But what is really concerning, angering, frustrating, upsetting, they're just not trying. Like, they're not trying. And, we hate to say this about professionals, but these players, they're not trying. There's no professional pride at the moment. We had, if we look at, I take JWS's point about, I was at that Crystal Palace game, actually. I was like, oh, okay, right. I was like, all right, you know what? Let's, we're coming into, I think we're still just about top of the league. And then you're right. This season, the malaise, Crystal Palace away, because it's been the same thing, but it's getting worse. Like we're now going that, like you said, 6 months ago, we kept losing last minute goals and we weren't, clearly the players' mentality wasn't going until the 90+ minute. At the moment, we're just throwing games away. Whether it's the Brighton game before the break, whether it's this, we're just throwing games away. Tottenham, who were pretty much the worst team in league at the moment, they outplayed us for a whole second half. Brighton, Danny Welbeck could have scored a hat trick. Saturday's game, and maybe we'll touch on the first 35 minutes. I'm also like, well, we're not going to clap for creating half chances and not conceding for 35 minutes if we're then going to be the architects of our own downfall. That second half was embarrassing. It was a disgrace, and I think that as much as Van Dijk's saying, I don't want to keep coming out here, but like, you're actually part of the problem as well. Like you're not leading. Van Dijk is a great player. He's an absolute top player, and he's even had good moments this season. But he's been lacking as a captain this season because when you're seeing the same mistakes happening at the back time and time again, game after game, mistake after mistake from Van Dijk. A stat I saw that he's given away 4 penalties this season. In his in 4 penalties this season, I think it was 47 games, something like that. He'd only given away 3 penalties in the previous 180 games before that. This is also starting with him. It's fanning out across the back line, and it's almost like you see the spread where it starts from the centre backs, it starts going out to the wingers. Joe Gomez, you know what? I'm never going to start on Joe Gomez. It then goes into midfield. It goes then up front. Like it's just a malaise that is swept through the team. I don't know. No, I know how we get out of it. The manager's got to go because I think, like JWS said, why would you give this guy more money? Why would you give him more time? Like, there's nothing he's shown. But when you then add what the players are showing on the pitch, yeah. So it's all good, Van Dijk coming out and saying it, but he's also not backing it with performances. And I think that Liverpool, like we said, Liverpool fans are very patient. We'll accept effort. We've had better teams go to Man City. Klopp has lost 5-0 at Man City. We've had battles with them, and we've had times where I was going to say very derogatory term, where they're really taking it to us. But we've never then doubted the effort. Whereas Saturday, we don't need to doubt the effort. We saw the effort, and that's what's really concerning for me. And to be honest, it starts with the captain.
All that being said, Mr. Sandwich, the effort was there in the first 30 minutes or so. I know you don't want to give them a shot of credit for that, but I'll take you back to that chance that Mo Salah had 1-on-1 with the keeper. I don't know, in any era, any forward, you'd expect them to put that chance away. It was weird. It's almost like he slid it across the goal. I mean, had that gone in, do you think we might have had a different match?
It's a different game, 100%. It's a different game, but it might still have been 4-1. But like, it is factually a different game. But we also had this when we went to the Etihad in November. I think it was the Van Dijk goal that was ruled out.
Oh yeah,
and then we capitulated. So there is but it's a mentality thing. So it would have been a different game because I think if we go in 1-0 or 1-1 at half time, yeah, it's a different game coming into the second half. However, I can't confidently sit here and say that we still would have won that game. I still think we would have still conceded 3 or 4. So the result wouldn't have changed. It would have been a slightly different complexion on the game. But on Salah, and I don't want to do this. We're only 13 minutes. I don't want to do this. But that just typifies.
Are we in the Salah segment already? Okay, all right.
We're ready. Well, you brought it up. That chance, I think it sums up his season, right? But by the way, Mamadashvili, what a pass, by the way, for that. What a pass. And you're just like, you've even let Mamadashvili down. That would have been a great assist. Alisson-esque. We know he's going to have to play for the next couple of weeks. No, that Salah chance, it sums up his season, and it kind of sums
we'll come
up
on to the goalkeeping thing. We'll come on
to that, yeah. But that specific chance, yes, you'd expect it on target at least. Like you say, it went out for a throw-in by the time it actually left, if we even went out. I think that sums up our attacking threat at the moment. And I think that's where I was like, oh, okay, right. This may not be our day because you don't get too many clear-cut chances like at the Etihad, almost whatever way City are playing. So you kind of got to start burying those. And it would have been a different game. It really would have been. But yeah, I think that summed up Salah's season, and everything that then happened after summed up Liverpool at the moment. And that's the scary bit.
One thing I was thinking was that many times over the past few years, even under Klopp, as you say, we've gone to the Etihad and taken one hell of a beating. There was a time we won the title, and then walked into a thumping,
Yeah.
and no one really cared at that point. There was a time that Sadio Mane ended up getting sent off,
Got the
and
red
they
card,
just literally just ground us down into the ground and beat us in submission, no problems. There's been many occasions, right?
COVID season, I think they won 4-1 at Anfield.
And
Yeah, but
Anfield,
I'm talking Etihad specifically.
Oh,
specifically
okay.
That
Etihad,
it is
Okay.
top two most difficult grounds to go, and it's not number two, right? That is to me in a normal season like a really tricky challenge, and most people, I think, Double S coming into this game would have thought, okay, FA Cup, whatever competition, this is going to be tough.
But
Now, when you add
Spurs always do well there. That's annoying.
yeah, I know. But when you with us, when you add the layer of the form of the team, the general vibes around the club, around the manager, I think it just really compounds the situation, makes things harder. I think one thing that I really took away from this game was, hey, I was glad not to go down to like a final minute equalizer or winner.
Yeah.
It may sound like a weird thing to say, but I've taken too many of those. I can barely cope emotionally with those anymore. So that was a good thing. It was like, okay, after 60 minutes, knew what was what. But this whole thing about the team just giving up, I really want to unpick this and get your thoughts on this, Douglas, where you think it comes from. Because right now, the manager's job goes without saying, right? Maybe understating this, is under threat, right? As in his long-term prospects. But also, there was something on the line for us, as in with the league, we know we're flaky, but there was a prize. Like, even if you go into this game thinking we're probably not going to win it, you'd expect to see like a bit of a, okay, all or nothing, let's just go for this once we go goal down. Why is it once they went a goal down, we all knew it was over? Joe?
I think it all comes down to the manager again, and I think someone kind of touched on it. They don't believe in the manager. They don't believe in his tactics. They don't believe probably they should be play here. They don't believe in it. And if you don't believe in something, you're never going to give your all. Imagine when you're at school, there are certain subjects or certain teachers that you didn't quite gel with or whatever. You didn't give your best because you're thinking, oh, like I don't know, like for me it was art. I was never a good drawer. I never didn't like my art teacher. I thought he was a you know what. So I just turned up just to
questionable fellow.
Yeah, I just turned up because, but from like PE, from like English, what I'm good at, yeah, I was on it. And I think that's just generally how we are as human beings. They do not like this manager. They do not like how he speaks, how he put on the bus, how he treated their mate Salah, how he treated Kwanzaa, how he they don't like it. And also these players know he won't be here next season.
Yeah.
So what is the point? They know, and there's something. Even people like Robbo, who would have been one of the leaders in the group, he's kept silent. He's got nothing to say, you know, and that tells you something. Because someone like him, you'd expect him to say something. I mean, so the only praise I'm going to give this team.
Hang on a second. When you say you expect him to say something, in what capacity?
As in, he's a senior player. He should be coming out, and the only time he's spoken out is about his place in the team. Yeah. He's never behind the manager. Come on, guys, we have standards. That you'd expect him as, you know, I don't want to say it, but you know, he's British, yeah, and he's been in the team. He's that, you know, he's a captain of Scotland. You know, is he not a vice captain?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd see him saying, but he's not saying anything because these players. These are signs. These players don't back this guy. They don't rate this guy, and that's it. And I think the only praise I'll give this team is that there's been no leaks. That's it. Imagine that's the only praise I can give this team. No leaks.
Well, you said there's been no leaks, but you do recognise and realise that Mohamed Salah's interview in itself was.
But that's not a leak. That's not a leak. That was a bomb. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Front and centre said, "Look at me." But you know the sneaky ones like, "Oh, sources
tell the camp say,
this camp says this." And there's none of that stuff. There's none of that stuff. That's what I mean. So yeah, I think that's the only praise I can give them this season. And we're talking about missing chances. We've missed the most big chances in all five leagues, and
Is this
so
true?
it's the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah. Oh, we're miles ahead. Yeah.
And not only that, I'm giving you a preview of PSG. We're gonna have chances. We're gonna talk about Ekatika should have scored here, Salah could have scored here, blah blah. Only put away. That's what we're gonna do, and then they're gonna score one, and then score two, and score three, and
Double
then
S, you're running ahead of yourself. We will come to
yeah.
PSG. Don't
Okay.
worry
Sorry.
about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. See. This is what Scott's got me. He's got me all emotional. He's got me all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
So what I'm
I
trying to
asked
make.
you a question about why we felt collectively that we were going to lose this match once we go down. You've opened up to me emotionally.
Do you know? Do you
You're
know
laying
what?
everything on the table now.
Can I say something? So after when I watched the match, I watched the match on my laptop. I shut it and I continue because the people I was with, they're not really football fans. They don't even know what's going on, right? So I had no one to talk to about it, right?
Yeah.
So I got
So
back
you
last night.
didn't swear at anyone.
No, I didn't because it was what it was, right?
Echo
So yeah.
chamber.
So anyway, so I put the thing there, and I just couldn't include the rest of my weekend. You guys are the first people, and I'm not looking at my phone all weekend either because I'm getting stupid Arsenal fans messaging me, right?
This is why he's got an outpouring of
So
emotion. Mr.
you
Sam.
guys are the first people I'm speaking to about it. So sorry, you're
This is
getting my
therapy.
raw, visceral this, right? Sorry.
All right,
Anyway,
it's all making sense now.
okay, back to our scheduled
All right.
programming, right?
Yeah.
So you were talking about in terms of why they're giving up because
Yes.
they're no longer believing the program, and
Yep.
the king is dead. Long live the new king once he reveals himself. That's pretty much it.
We should talk about that goal, by the way. Sorry, I was like, oh,
Which
we went
one?
1-0 down, right? So we went 1-0 down because Van Dijk committed a foul in the penalty area. It was his fourth foul that he's conceded. I think that's led to a penalty. Did they say in the season?
I'm thinking. Okay, we got Eindhoven.
I can't remember the exact. I can't remember the exact stat.
Eindhoven, and there was Brentford away.
Yeah,
that's two. And there's one more. I can't remember top of my head.
So it's the fourth of the season, right?
It sounds about right.
Yeah, and they said in his first 7 or 8 seasons he'd given away like 4 in total. So I think that speaks a bit to maybe he's slowing down, and the fact that we will know. But Erling Haaland steps up, dispatches it. He ends up getting a hat trick, and actually, when that goal goes in, little do we know it, but that's going to be the start of a 20-minute spell that just puts the game to bed, and all the goals are done by I think 57 minutes. So, and then after that, I've got to give credit to Erling Haaland. A lot of people don't put enough respect in his name, in a sense that they try and downplay what he does, right? Or they try and paint him as a flat track bully, or they say, if he's not scoring goals, he's not doing anything. But that's the most difficult thing to do. And that header that he put away, loved it. I thought it was so good. And I did think to myself, there's no one on that guy's level. And if he is on it, there's not much you can do to stop the fella. Could have been Liverpool, could have been Arsenal, could have been Palace, Wolves, whoever. They weren't stopping him on that weekend. So I do want to give him credit. We often don't do that for opposition players. 2-0, it was dead and buried. At that point, Mr. Sandwich, you had bigger things on your mind. You're thinking, what's going to happen? Even though I've got an important question, is it going to be answered in the way I want it to be answered? Were you resigned to, nothing happening in a positive sense for Liverpool at that point?
Yeah, no, when the second one went in, but you are literally correct. The game kind of also passed me by because I was kind of thinking about something else. So it was on and I was watching it, but I wasn't feeling those emotions of, we're down. Like when that second went in, I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at the heads, and I'm just like, yeah, we're not and we're not playing for a draw. It's a cup game. Like we're not getting 2 to take it to extra time. We're not getting 3 to win this game. At that point, I genuinely was like, right, let's just not get embarrassed here. You go to Etihad and you lose 2-0 in a cup quarter final. And bearing in mind, at that moment, where we'd had the balance of the first 35 minutes, I would be like, you know what? Oh, man, if only we're taking those chances. This is the difference. Like you said, Haaland, he's going to take the chances. We just didn't. So at that point, I'm genuinely thinking, right, just don't get embarrassed now. Do not get embarrassed. Don't just roll over. But that's exactly what we did. And I do want, on your previous point, I agree broadly. I do agree broadly about Haaland's power. I think we take it for granted. However, we've seen the season that Haaland's had. We've seen how he's played in big games. This was more about Liverpool's defense because 2 weeks ago, Danny Welbeck was having all these chances. Danny Welbeck had a great header. He was slotting them away. So as Haaland is a great striker, and I'm not saying he's the same as Danny Welbeck, but at the moment, anyone can do the job. Richarlison can do it to us. Danny Welbeck can do it to us.
Richarlison causes us more stress than any striker on this earth.
Precisely. So when the way we're defending, if you do that against a team of the quality of Man City, this is what's going to happen. And I think what's helped Slot over the last 6 months is that we actually haven't played that many good teams. Like we've not been, those games where we're getting last minute goals or a couple games here and there. Yeah, the teams haven't actually been that good. But as we've shown, when we come up against good quality, we're not in it. And at that point, I'm thinking this might get embarrassing if the players don't lock in. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, what happened at the Etihad in the Premier League?
It was the same. So if you remember, honestly, we were in it.
3-0.
It finished 3-0. But we were in it and we had the goal ruled out. Remember, the Van Dijk header got ruled out. And then they scored just before half time, and then second half we were nowhere in it.
So and Haaland also missed the penalty.
Haaland missed the penalty, actually, exactly. So again, it was almost exactly the same. Almost exactly
he missed the penalty, but he bagged in that game as well, didn't he?
He bagged
all three games that he's played against us. He scored. So he's got 5 goals in 3 matches against us. I want to talk about another disgusting and disgraceful. Can't even get my words together. Stat, which is Mark Gay. A player that we should have signed. He was on a platter like this. They came to Richard Cheese and said, look, here, you can have it. You can be a bit quick. And then the manager decided he wasn't going anywhere. And he has played 5 times against us in one season and come out top in all 5 games. So there's a charity shield, which went to penalties. There was for Palace. Then we spoke about the Palace game where we got done in the last moments. Then there was
3-0.
Carabao.
Yeah. Then there was the 2 City games. It's disgraceful. I can't think Double S of a player who's got 5 wins against us this season. Can you?
In one season, I can't think. No. You'd probably have to go back to the Soonest days or something like that.
Even then, you wouldn't because of the competitions. It just wouldn't happen. And it speaks to how many games we've lost. 15 games this season.
How many? Repeat it. How many?
What? 15. Oh my goodness.
Is that a record? A club record?
It's going to be because we're going to lose more games.
I think they were saying the record is 18 under Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think.
I have no idea. I don't think we can sit here and say this is our last loss of the season. So I think we're going to lose a couple more over the next month and a half.
Yeah.
He's
this trip to Old Trafford.
Oh, that's mate.
I mean, there's plenty of fixtures for us to dread, but let's not get too ahead.
Let's not even. Yeah.
Let's try and wrap up this. Look back at this awful match at the Etihad. So we spoke about Erling Haaland's 2 goals.
Semenyo.
Half time. Then on 50 minutes, talk about that Semenyo goal. I was quite impressed with it. Double S. How did you?
It was when I was watching it, I was thinking like, what was the goalkeeper doing? Then I watched people, I think, oh, it was actually a good finish. It just didn't look. It just didn't look good. If you know what I mean. If I don't know how to explain it, it looked too easy and looked out of position. I'm thinking, oh, he had to cover that space because it's like that's as a position, that's your natural space. You've got to come out. You've got to meet him. But it just seemed to. It was a good finish, but I don't know what to say. By that time, I've almost punch drunk. I feel like, yeah.
The laptop was slowly. It's like a horror movie. You know what's coming. You know you're going to be
because you tell yourself, okay, it's half time. Yeah, second half. It's 0-0. Let's try win the second half.
Hang on, did you actually tell yourself that at 2-0? Did you think, they just got to throw the kitchen sink?
Because I had no one else to talk to. Or did you give it up hope
like me?
Bro, I had no one else to talk to. So I'm just there like mumbling to myself, yeah? Right. Yeah, and I'm doing it because
there's always a chance.
Because they're otherwise, what's the point of watching?
It's true. That's true.
So and obviously the people I was with, they're playing music and stuff like that. Yeah, obviously totally oblivious. I had no sound on. I
Oh,
thought,
fair.
so I was like,
You know what you should be doing? What would have helped your mental health in a positive way is to accept that it wasn't going to happen. Shut the laptop and enjoy the
no.
music.
At 4-0, yeah,
Yeah.
I accepted that. I remember it was 4-0 like before 70 minutes.
It's really quick.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, so I still watched another the last 20 minutes. I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, maybe we can just if we get one, it's game on. I didn't think any of that stuff. Even by the time I had missed the penalty, I still kept watching. I should have, but I just thought, you know what,
You just
I'm here
reminded
now.
me of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I will just
talk about that then.
the penalty. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Firstly, if there's a God, yeah,
Yeah.
that will be his last penalty in the Liverpool shirt. Because any penalty we have between now and then is going to mean something. We're not going to be 4-0 up and he takes the penalty to make it 5-0. That's not going to happen, right? So basically it says that, right? And I just knew he wasn't going to score. And to be fair, it wasn't even that much of a disappointment because even if he'd scored, we're still losing the match.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. So it wasn't even a pressure penalty. If you think about it, unless he just bagging for himself, but it wasn't a pressure penalty.
That was at 4-0, wasn't it?
Yeah,
at 4-0.
it was ready 4-0.
Yeah. So it wasn't really, but I just think, you know what, it would have been a time because I was really thinking, I actually looking who's going to take the penalty. Like then when I saw it him, I thought, yeah. Because obviously I had no sound on, but I just thought, yeah, it's just typical. He got no confidence, zero confidence whatsoever. He didn't put any disguise on it. He didn't, you know when a player's got no confidence when they don't even look at the goalkeeper, just hit it as hard as they can.
Yeah.
So
it is
what it is.
He was not confident,
and I'm thinking
the team aren't confident.
And I know we'll talk about it later, but last season when we played PSG, went to penalties. We need to be prepared for every eventuality.
We're not going to need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about it.
No, I hear you, but we also know any coach
you have to prep.
Have to prepare for all eventualities.
It's true. No, that's true. That's a good point.
I'm being facetious. Absolutely,
I know.
We need to cover all bases, and we need to be ready, and that is absolutely a concern, right? Now, let's just wrap up the goals, please. Haaland's hat trick.
Yeah,
Miss
that was the most shocking of them all. But anyway, Sam, you go.
Yeah, yeah. You know, again, I think, and actually, we'll talk a little bit about the fans, the Liverpool fans leaving the game. It's not good because they're watching this and they're thinking, Gomez, what you do? You're not tracking the players. You're literally not even trying. Like you're visibly not trying because sometimes you say they're not trying because maybe they're jogging at half pace or they're when players do that pointing thing because they're pointing at someone else. No, they weren't even doing that. They weren't even pretending. They had withdrawn from that game. They had given up. And that fourth goal, I don't think City have scored an easier goal where they're essentially walking it into the box because Gomez isn't going to drop back. He's not going to defend. They'll pass it into the box. They know that we're not going to be able to clear our line. So it's like, all right, who wants a shot this time? And then you're going to give it to the best striker pretty much in the world. Yeah, he's going to score that. Who's on his hat trick?
And no one was around him. He was in space. Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I don't know if he scored an easier goal. He must have thinking, right, this would be a great hat trick, easiest hat trick I've ever scored. No one's around him. No one's pressing. No one's holding tight to him.
He's probably disappointed at the aesthetic of
exactly. He's just thinking, wow, come on, I want a bit more of a challenge. Make it harder. But it really summed up. And I think that's where it's like, there's just no coming back from when players start playing like that. There's no coming back. The fans are going to be frustrated. They're going to come, the fans are going to show it in that way. Some side's then going to go up, say, support us. But it's like, no. It was unacceptable. Of all the things that happened on Saturday, the way that fourth goal was conceded, just unacceptable.
What do you think about Pep Linda's celebrations?
Oh, that got my goat more than anything. I mean, you talk about emotionally riling you. I was... when you bring up Pep Linda's name, because as a reminder, viewers and listeners, for those of you who weren't watching or just blocked it out, Guardiola was in the stands, right?
You got
And
the
so
book.
Pep Linders will show
Drew.
maximum intensity on that side. Like,
Intensity.
pin it
Drew,
down. Hey,
Get away.
Pep Linders showed maximum intensity. That was his identity on the touchline. I did not like it at all. It's stuck in the throat. He's no comeback from that guy. He's cancelled in my book. But not in all seriousness. I felt that, and I'm not one of those people, right, who's like, oh, you don't show enough passion. But it feels like the air has come out of the slot tires. Like even his body language to me, he's always been quite a cool customer, right? But you saw how intense he was against Galatasaray. Remember how pumped up he was? Yeah, and I convinced myself at that point maybe this is like an emotional turnaround that can be transferred to the team. But he just seems resigned. He's resigned like the fans. He's resigned like the players. And I actually want to play a quick clip of the interview that he did post match, where one of the journalists, I'm really sad that I don't have the journalist's name, but he challenged him with a very direct assertion around the team's effort. So have a look at this and we'll share our thoughts.
Blocking crosses and also kind of not tracking runners and things like that. I mean, they are the basics of football, the very basics of football, whether you're playing at this level, whether you're playing on a park, it's the very basic of football. So as a coach, when you ask yourself tonight why your players aren't doing the basics, what's your answer?
Yeah, that I don't agree with what you are saying, but in moments you're completely right. So if you tell to me from the 15 runs Man City is making 15 times my players don't run, I disagree with you. But if you simply look at the goals, there I see runs that are not being followed, I see crosses that are not being blocked, I see duels in front of goal that are not won, then you are completely right. But that's not the story of the whole game. But every single time we forget to block a cross, we forget to defend in front of goal, we forget to follow a runner. Every single time it's a goal.
Not blocking.
So that to me is quite weird. In a way, it's not weird because the manager is under pressure, and there's a lot on riding on the line for him. He's probably stunned at what he's just seen. He's being faced with a very blunt question. And credit to the journalist for putting that to him. It's not comfortable viewing for me. I didn't enjoy watching it, right? But when you say it's moments, it's 4 key moments. It's like that led to goals, right? And very often in games, you're talking about, even when you're being competitive, losing or winning games in moments. So if it happened in moments, that's bad enough. The score was 4-0. Liverpool lost the football match 4-0. So where do you think he was coming from on that, Mr. Sandwich? Is it just we got to accept? You get asked a direct question like that, you don't actually have the answer. He doesn't have the answers, and so whatever he comes out with, he's going to be slated for. And frankly, there's nothing positive that he can say that people will take away and accept and think, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Or does he deserve a bit of criticism for the way he responded to it?
No, I think it's what you said, that whatever he says is going to be taken in a specific way. I think it's a very challenging question. I do think sometimes there's a bit of a line between journalism and punditry, and actually I think in that setting you should just stick to the journalism part and asking the whys rather than trying to give those explanations. So I think, not that it like crossed the line or anything, it wasn't like a personal attack or anything like that. I just think that actually it was quite a strong rebuttal, and I think Slot has the right to answer equally as strong. However, he doesn't have the answers. He doesn't have the answers, or if he has the answers, one of two things: either he's not able to convince the players to change it, or he doesn't think the players are doing it and he's not going to dig them out in the press conference. But I think those are really the only options. So he kind of has to go backs against the wall, and he has to push back. But we're all watching the same thing. And like you said, if it's moments, okay, those moments are dictating the scoreline. So what else are we meant to then judge it on? Like, they were miles ahead of their XG. Yeah, because we weren't closing them down. Therefore, the chances they do get are going to become significantly easier for them. Those are all things within the purview of the manager. And realistically, there's not much else he can say, because he either has to dig out the players or he has to hold his hands up and say, I do not have an idea how to deal with this problem. Neither of which are really enamoring answers. So at that point, you actually genuinely might as well just fight back, because like whatever you say, you're gonna be on a loser. But you might as well fight back. You might as well give a little bit back, because you're on the home straight. You know where this is gonna end. You might as well go out fighting.
What I would
Jay.
say to that is, he just needs to be a bit cuter. Like, they've got a press up and stuff like that. Everyone knows when they ask you a direct question, you don't have to give them a direct response.
You don't have to,
You can talk around it and say, do you know what, those boys, I know those boys, they're hurting inside, you know, we're gonna bounce back and blah 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 blah, we go again, whatever it is, that kind of bullshit that, you know, any manager gives, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You don't open up to them.
Jay. No one's accepting that bullshit at this moment in
No,
time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're completely backs against the wall.
No. You say that. No. You say that, but you see, whenever Klopp got criticism, you see how he used to turn on them. He got them scared. Fergie used to do it. Mourinho, they'll switch to them and they'll change his topic and goes, look, you know, and you say, like, you know, in your press room, sometimes you have bad days, whatever. You make them think, you know what, the next man, if or woman, if they ask a question, just know that, you might get it, so you don't bother. Yeah. That's what you do. You create that kind of siege mentality, whatever, and you make it sure that people are scared because they're worried about their credentials being swiped from them. That, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what you do. But the thing is, because he's in a weak position, because he doesn't have that thingy, they're thinking, do you know what? It's like bullies. When they see someone's weak, they'll take advantage. He's the weak little boy with a new Nike Air trainers on the road. They're gonna take them. That's what they're doing. Because
I say with new Nike trainers.
Like, you know, back in the day, you know, I don't know where you grew up, but where I grew up in my
these days it's New Balance. Ask the kids.
Yeah. But back in my day, there were certain guys, that if you couldn't defend yourself, exactly down the East London, if you couldn't defend yourself, you get peeled.
You lose the trainers on your feet.
Peeled. You get peeled. They'll take your trainers, they'll take your starter jacket, they'll take your hat, whatever it is. If you show signs of weakness, and that's what they're doing with him, you know. And I think so. Yeah, he shouldn't even entertain that question. He should answer it on his own terms. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's his default setting, though, isn't it? And that's the thing.
Yeah.
In good times,
he loves the go.
Even in good times, he'll point out, like I said, he'll be shit at interview or mid-year reviews, right? Because he'll point out negative. And I didn't expect anything different of him. I don't want to dwell on that. Look, there's no one here on this podcast, of all of us or anyone who appears in it who thinks really that Slot is going to be manager in September. Do we?
This way, I don't think he deserves to be.
No. Do you think? Because we're assuming he's not going to win the Champions League. Do you think he's going to be manager?
This. I don't expect him to be manager, but the things I've heard coming out of FSG are concerning me. As in, we have backing.
Pay too much attention to what comes out of FSG, but because they've said
things
they
could make the decision
about players.
I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it because I don't like it.
No. What I'm saying is, what people say and what people do, and what people say they'll do, all different things. And Liverpool, as a club, tend to keep things quite. And they're not going to send smoke signals to say, you know what, we're not quite sure about the future.
Or they could just say nothing.
Looking a bit dodgy.
They could just, you know, what most clubs before they're about to sack the manager say nothing.
I tell you what was weird that time they did the round table. I was like, what?
Just see what I'm saying?
It's just bizarre.
Why would you even do it and post it? Like,
do you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm worried about. Because I remember when Brendan Rodgers was about to get a sack, there was whispers. You know, when he started,
we're not in Ancelotti, we're not doing the.
You can see all that kind of stuff. So the point I'm trying to make to you is that I don't expect him to be there, but all I'm saying is the noise of him FG is concerning, and I'm just saying I can't ignore that.
Put a percentage on it. What's your percentage expectation of him being in the job come September?
40%.
Mr. Sandwich.
I'm about 20% because I broadly agree with JSS and FSG any other club, he would have already gone. So that's where I'm almost like, there reaches a point where it's
any other top club.
No.
Any
Drew, any other
Everton
club.
would
You
have sacked
can't
him.
lose. You can't have that losing run in the Premier League now. And teams are getting. We're now in the season where the teams in the relegation zone sometimes they will go through 3 managers in a season, so you're not getting more than 13 sometimes. Any other club in November, it was any other big club who wouldn't have survived. Where we're at now, and he's won 7 league games, of the last 20 years.
They're still fifth, so you can't say any other
fifth
club.
by default because everyone else also keeps losing. But that's what feeds into my 20%, because if we still get Champions League, then they have a discussion. Whereas I think if we don't get Champions League, then it becomes a 5% because he's also only got 1 year left in his contract. So it's actually easier to get rid of him now. But if we get Champions League football, and there is legitimate reasons for parts of the things that have gone wrong this season, and there are legitimate reasons that are under his control, and he has credit, there's a 20% chance that he's still manager in September if we get Champions League. So
I give it about 10%. It's LFC Agenda. We are looking back at Man City 4, Liverpool 0. JSS says 40% chance of Slot being in charge at the start of the season. Miss Sandwich says 20. I say 10. It's a 100% chance that Miss Sandwich is going to walk down the aisle because he has been accepted as a future groom. And a big congratulations to him.
Great signing.
So, yeah, fantastic signing. Yeah, lifetime contract. Okay, now I want to talk about standards, guys. Because on the pitch, we got pummeled, right? But off the pitch, there are concerning signs. Let's talk about first, Mr. Sandwich, what we saw from Dominic Szoboszlai at the end of the match. Some people have described it as a bit of a tantrum.
Yeah.
He basically walks in the direction of the away fans, and he appears to be gesturing for them to be a bit more supportive and give a bit more. Because, a lot of them left way before the final whistle. But if you are confronted with fans that have just seen their team mangled and they don't have much confidence in the side and what's going on, what they're seeing before their eyes, they have stayed. Did they deserve that? And should we be too hard on him because it was a bit of an emotional reaction there?
I think it's an emotional reaction, and I think that it's because Szoboszlai has been trying, and because Szoboszlai has been doing his job, he can't compute. So in Szoboszlai's eye, he's thinking, I know that I put in a good effort, and this is just one of those games. So support us when things go wrong. But that's from his perspective because he's actually been trying. He's actually been doing his job, even when he's been in different positions. But the other players on the pitch, they haven't. So I understand the fan frustration. Me personally, I would never leave a game early. I don't leave the cinema early. So even if I don't like the film, so I'm not going to leave the game early. But I do understand this season.
ROI.
This season, exactly right. I already paid for it, so I understand this season because, like I said, I was at the Nottingham Forest game, and I nearly left. But I understand this season why people have left. But I don't think Szoboszlai. I think it was very tone deaf. I think it's very tone deaf with the performance that the rest of the players gave to go up to the fans that were still there and gesticulate to them as if, wait, hold on, guys, look, yeah, we lost, but give us a round of applause. We've come down. It's like, no, you've got to be a bit more street smart to that. Of you go over and you humbly apologize, say, look, we're sorry. Thanks for your support. We clap you, and we're gonna try again next time. And you do all that talking after you put your Instagram post. Sorry to Liverpool fans, this wasn't good enough. We need to make sure we improve. We need to do better.
I hate those flipping Instagram posts. I don't think you need to do those, but on the pitch, yeah.
But on the pitch,
yeah,
you just. Thanks,
can I respond to that?
Sorry, and then you walk off, but you don't go give back and forth when the team have given that effort and then the scoreline, because it's not just about the scoreline; it's about the effort.
But what I'll say to that, I agree with you broadly. I would say that, but also you got to remember, he's a young man, right?
Yeah, it's emotional.
He's only about 20, 21, 20, he's about 22, 23, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So he's young. He just played 90 minutes. He's emotional. He's having a bad season, all that kind of stuff. And
he's having a good season.
Okay, but as a team, having a bad season at Liverpool, right? And you also got to think about it in terms of we're analysing it as men, middle-aged, that kind of thing, right? Or
Mr.
approaching
Savage,
middle-aged. Some of us.
You're trying to tell us all the same brush.
Okay.
He's just puttering on
Sandwich has the wisdom of a middle-aged man. Is that
Thank you. No, I always hear it, so I'll take it.
Yeah. So,
Good rescue.
no,
Good rescue.
I mean that genuinely. By the
You're
way.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's true.
So has that.
Basically, Savage, you'd be approaching retirement compared to Sobosai. That's what.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. And also we're 2 days removed from it, so we had time to think about it. Whereas he's in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, and like that kind of stuff. So for me, I don't want to be that one who goes, "Oh, we're showing passion," but at least he's the only one that seems to care.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because everyone else is just like whatever. So I think
Sam makes a good point that actually, because it was him, it probably makes it easier for us to digest.
Yeah.
Let's say Joe Gomez.
Oh mate, no,
stepped up to the fence. Let me dial up. Let's say Kanate had come to the fans and done that. Double S, he's a young man, but you would have lost your shit, wouldn't you?
No, we would have. Do you know what? Because of what he's been for the season, we would.
Yeah.
I'm going easy Kanate.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Look,
When I talk about standards, I'm also talking about standards of the fans, right?
Yeah.
So me, I put myself in this bracket, right? I talked about being delusional coming to this game, but my own standards are slipping. I understood that the game was over. I just lost interest, and maybe if I'd been there, maybe I would have left a bit early. Definitely not half an hour, but maybe I would have left a bit early, and maybe it's something that is just being polluted by what's being shown on the pitch. But then off the pitch, you've got this situation with Hugo Ekitike swapping his shirt with Shirky long before the final whistle. And Shirky looked like a complete lemon because
he did that.
He actually put on the shirt and the bench. You could see Ekitike's name at the front. And someone must have given a poke in the rib to say, stop being a dick. You know, you should take it off because he took it off quick. But why is Hugo Ekitike doing that? You talk about being tone deaf. Isn't that just the most stupid thing that you could do when you're really struggling on the pitch, Samage?
That was a big side job. Okay, I'll let you go first.
Okay, firstly, that just encapsulates like the standards. As I said in the last pod, Hendo and Milner would have decked him for that. Never, ever allowed that.
He'd be facing long-term injury, and it would be from his teammates.
Basically, there's that. He would never even done that. That thing. But initially you talked about standards, and I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a possibility you may be conflating standards with expectations. Now, your expectations of a team are set by what the team has shown you. I can't expect Leyton Orient to win a Champions League because they've not shown me anything to suspect that. I'm not saying we Leyton Orient, but I'm using hyperbole to underscore a point. So they have because we've seen what we saw on Saturday so many times this season, you have to adjust your expectation to the evidence that you provided. So that's all it is. So their standards have dropped, therefore our expectations have dropped. The fact that we're still coming to watch them and blah blah, we're still doing what we can do. There's nothing I can do to make the team play better. You know, all I can do is support the team, and I'll support the team even if we get relegated, God forbid. But do you know what I mean? That's the thing, right? So I think it starts with the team. You know, the team needs to give us something to cheer about. In terms of going home early, if you can remember, not every Liverpool fan comes from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So if you come from exactly, so if you come from say Portsmouth, and you've driven that, I haven't driven to Manchester, and you're just serving that, they're not trying. Do you know what? Why not get on the motorway 20 minutes earlier? Why not? That's what I say.
Okay, would you have left early, Double S?
No, because I'm an ROI guy. I don't get to many matches, so when I do get to matches, I want to kind of savor it, you know. And I've seen some dark days. I saw us get beat by Man United. I went 2 years in a row to see and sat in the Cop to watch us play Man United. But both times he lost. One time Diego Forlan scored 2 goals, and the other time Ryan Giggs scored 2 goals. But you know, I never left early. I was gutted, but I never left early.
Mr. Sandwich, please, your thoughts on the Ekitike Shirky shirt swap.
I maybe this is 2 days removed. The shirt swap, whilst annoying, is there a difference between they both went off? So what happened is there was a substitution window, so they both went off at the same time. What's the difference between they're off at the same time versus at full time versus remember last year Trent gave to Bellingham in the dressing room? I think the whole shirt swap thing, like ultimately, is going to happen. Shirky has been very mischievous, very, very mischievous, just like he was in the Carabao final with the kick-ups. And it's just that we're now on the receiving end of it because, why are you trying to put you know what you're doing? He's trying to put the shirt on, he's putting behind. And like you said, someone behind him in no uncertain words said, don't do that. And he took it straight off. But he was trying to be just like, Shirky, there's something about him, you know, that maverick and but he's a bit of a wind-up merchant.
You got a touch of Bernardo's about Shirky.
Yeah,
right?
because Bernardo's leaving, he's a replacement.
Exactly. So, you know, it stings because we're 4-0 down. But if it was 0-0, they went off at the 7th minute, it was a tactical change. And then we saw at the end of the game that the top shirts, we wouldn't really be thinking about it. So it's one of those, I think this is one where 2 days removed, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't like the act of swapping the shirts, unless if you're against them swapping shirts ever because they're competitors, rivals, then like fine, then it's never going to be fine. But Ekitike, he sat down, he actually put his jacket back on, so he was showing that look, obviously I don't have my Liverpool shirt on, so like, you know, I don't want the cameras on me kind of thing. Shirky did a bit of a wind up, and you know, he got again just like he did to Arsenal, you know, it goes viral, and it's one of those where it's like, well, to the victor go the spoils. When you're 4-0 up, you're gonna act out on the bench, and when you're on the receiving end of that, every little thing is gonna annoy you. We're gonna be annoyed if the players on the bench don't look upset, or if they're not, if they're a little bit happy. Like all of those things. That when you're losing, honestly, these kind of things they happen, and they feel much worse than the reality of it. I get
where you're coming from. As in, you know, little things will annoy you. It's like I see a lot of Liverpool fans. Like, why did he sneeze at that moment?
Like all these things. It's like
I get it, but this was like an obvious thing.
But Drew, if we're not talking, it wasn't Ekitike that was holding. We didn't see Ekitike holding a blue shirt or putting it on.
You need to swap your shirt before full time. I know
what's the difference. What's the difference? So if they swapped it at full time, we still lost 4-0, so it's fine.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is like both Shirky and Ekitike both play for French national teams. So I'm assuming they're French. I'm assuming they've got each other's numbers. He could just text him and say, "Look, you know, let me have your shirt. Save it for me. I'll pick it up next time I see you."
It's not the one when you're being pummeled.
But not when you're being pummeled. That's the bit I get. But I'm also like,
and we've seen that with Ekitike before, where he's made poor decisions.
He's a bit,
a lot of them.
He's very young. He definitely has a lot of maturing to do. So we give him a bit of grace. Give him a bit of grace.
And a lot of these players, a lot of the Man City and Man Liverpool players live close by to each other. Basically, so
you know, it's not the right thing to do. You know, it doesn't optically look good, and a more sensible player would not have done it. You know, Van Dijk would not have done that, right? I don't want to pile in on him. It's just like something that very much irritated me.
We have much more things to worry about, more important things to worry about. So
we do. We got PSG coming up. We're going to come to that shortly. But before we do,
we wear black suits for that pod?
No, that's second leg.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Don't worry, it'll be over by Tuesday next week. But if we had got through this tie, Jay, and we'd beaten Man City 4-0, right? And then we'd gone on to who'd they draw?
They've not drawn. Haven't been drawn yet, right?
No, they drew it. Basically, they kept City and Chelsea apart. So
okay. So let's say Southampton, whoever, right? Yeah. And they got to the final, and then they beat Chelsea. Even after all that, this wouldn't be grounds if Liverpool do not make this top 5 for the manager to keep his job. And if he does make the top 5, right? Top 5. I don't think that would have saved his job, because we've seen another follically challenged former manager from Holland in the Man United dugout who, preserved his time for a little longer. But that glorious victory where he had massive wins over Liverpool and Man City didn't save his job. So, point is, are we actually feeling any different towards Slot than we were at the beginning of the weekend? For you, Double S, does it make any difference to his standing?
No, I think on the last pod, I made it clear he has to go, even if we win the Champions League. Because and I know people disagree with me. Fair enough, but even if we could have done a cup double, he still got to go. Because for me, I've seen it's alarming. You cannot have a manager in situ.
I understand how you feel. I'm thinking more the way the board might look at it.
Oh, the way the board might feel. I think the board. I think they like him. I think they like the fact that he's a bit of a yes man, whereas Klopp was a bit hard to manage for them. So I think they like him. They see he can be a useful kind of lightning rod for them. I think Richard Hughes genuinely seems to like him. They seem to have a generally good relationship there. So that's something we don't really take into consideration because we're not part of that kind of relationship. But I think they're also business people. They're looking at it in terms of like, you know what, you're seeing the next stage is empty seats, people not going to matches, you know, and you cannot have that. I'm thinking, and the thing is, they're smart because they saw it under Brendan Rodgers, and they also saw it under Roy Hodgson, right?
Yeah.
So why
saw it, felt it, smelt it,
basically? So why would they sleepwalk into that same situation? You can see the direction of travel. So I think, and on top of that, let's just say he starts next season again, and then this continues in October. Okay, then you change the manager. Now the options are not as plentiful as they were in May,
that's
June.
a good point.
You know, so realistically, there's the net benefit of keeping him on does not outweigh the net negatives as far as I'm concerned.
Do you want to lower that 40% percentage, Double S, based on what you just said?
No, because that 40% percentage is more of an emotional buffer for me, because there've been many a time where, you know, we've been told, we have a big overhaul this summer. We have a big we're gonna have a big overhaul this summer. We're gonna spend big, and then we don't see value in the market. We're gonna wait for the right targets, and then we end up with nothing. So they've shown me this before, FSG, that they'll promise to do something, and then they'll say the conditions are not right, or they'll give you some kind of spiel, and James Pearce will come out and give the party line and all the rest of it. So that's the 40%. So it's still 40% is still a minority share.
You asked the question why would they persist, and the simple answer here is there's no precedent at Liverpool for a manager winning the title in his first season, right? And then slumping like this. But the title winning aspect is what they've got to lean back on emotionally. But you're right, if you get to the point where people are voting with their feet, we've seen it to a degree, and their voices, then it becomes concern, it becomes tangible, it becomes something that they have to pay attention to. Now, talking of people that may stay or go, I do want to touch upon Alisson super quickly, because he's now apparently out for the season, or most of the rest of the season. When I look at Mamashvili, I like the guy, as a character. I like him as a keeper, but I'm not getting original Alisson vibes. And maybe that's just me being spoiled. I wanted something closer to that. I wanted something to signal, yes, 100%. If Alisson goes, this is your guy. I'm not convinced. Who's convinced? Samad, you convinced?
I think we need to, as the fans, we all need to do this, and we need to realize that the peak of the Klopp era of players, we're not going to be able to replicate them. So whoever our next right winger is, they will not replicate Mo Salah. So let's not compare. We cannot come. Alisson reached heights that are not normal for keepers, like generational heights. We can't compare it. Mamardashvili is a top keeper. He's a great shot stopper. His distribution is actually pretty good, to be fair, if they stop passing it to his wrong foot. a lot of the issues we've seen with Mamadas really in this in certainly this season of the games he's played is the line in front of him. They're playing it to his wrong foot, so he's having to scramble to clear it. But his shot stopping is very good. His distribution is, I'd say, very good. We saw it with just the one Salah chance, let alone anything else. That was Alisson. So, you know, there are elements of there. But no, I'm not looking at Mamadaashvili in the shadow of Alisson. Obviously, we literally have to because they're at the club at the same time. But he's going to be a different type of keeper, and we need to play to that. So I'm very confident in him. Also, I'm not sure there are many better available keepers. And obviously, Mamadaashvili has now been playing the number 2, but he was pretty much the best keeper in the league last year in a team that nearly got relegated because of how busy he was. If we remember Euro 2024 for Georgia, I'm pretty sure he actually got into the team with it. This is a very, very good keeper. Forget Alisson, one, because he's always injured, but when he leaves, forget him. We can't replicate the players that you just because you're replacing him as a body doesn't mean you're replacing him as a person. Whoever our next centre back after Van Dijk, Van Dijk nearly won the Ballon d'Or. Like you're not going to get a like for like player that's going to reach necessarily those heights in the same way. So they need to be looked at in their own individual lights, just like we've seen it with Trent. There aren't other Trents, Van Dijk, Salahs out there. So the players that come in after them, they shouldn't be held to that standard. We hold him to a standard against the keepers that are available and other keepers. Mamadaashvili could start for a top team right now. That's what I compare it to. Donnarumma's kind of slipped up, but like Donnarumma's not like miles ahead of Mamadaashvili, for example. David Raya has his moments. He's not miles ahead of Mamadaashvili. So that's what I compare it to. And I'm very confident in Mamadaashvili. All my problems at the moment are those in front of him. As a keeper, the fact that he's playing and he's going to have played over a third of the season, I'm never thinking, oh, that's a problem. Galatasaray away, he made a lot of good saves. We conceded because we weren't paying attention with the defense, but he made a lot of good saves in that game. So I have no problem with Mamadaashvili at the moment, but I also think he needs to be given the time to grow into the number 1 shirt on his own accord, not just in the shadow of Alisson. And I think that's where you have to make a decision for the long term. Alisson's got 1 year left on his contract. What's the point? Especially because he's not always available. My thing is his availability. As a goalkeeper, you can't be missing this many games. So the club have to make a decision. You've got 1 year left on your contract, so we're probably going to move you on next season. Should we actually give our number 2 all the confidence, embed him into the team, and let him own that number 1 shirt rather than coming in and out? That's the decision I'd make, to give him the confidence to be our future number 1.
Double S, I'm going to hit you with 3 questions, Salva. Pay attention, stay sharp. Number 1, are you worried by Mamadaashvili? Number 2, is he top? Number 3, do you expect him to be our number 1 next season?
I'm not worried at all. I second everything that somebody just said. I also I'm old enough to remember the days of Karius and days of Samuel Mignolet. That wasn't too long ago, by the way. So yes, he may not be an Alisson, but he's better than those 2.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So basically, and again, there's no outstanding goalkeeper in the league, really.
So is he top?
I've not seen, to give him the top. I need to see him a whole season, pretty much. But so far, you know, he's certainly got the foundational skill set. From what I can see, he's a steady Eddie. He comes for crosses. He doesn't make any stupid decisions. Doesn't take any stupid chances. You know what? That's one for goal. You don't want your goalkeeper to be the star of the show, right? And he's not the star of the show. It's like, and that's good enough for me. Yeah. I mean, some of our rivals have got clowns in goal, you know, and we don't want that. We don't want a clown. We don't want an Arne. We don't want a Robert Sanchez. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's good enough. Will it be number 1 next season? Do you know what? I kind of think there's writings on the wall. Regardless who's our manager, I think we have to move on from Alisson. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's just you know, football's above his body's giving up on him, and we're not benefiting. I mean, last season when we're winning, and he's out for like, and Keller comes in or Mashman, whatever, we can deal with that. But when we are trying to rebuild, pretty much we're gonna have to do. I think we just kind of have to kind of realize that he's not. And I think even Alisson is kind of probably, he knows he can't play. So I think, yeah, I think number one, I think this is maybe this man. This is his shirt to lose, as far as I'm concerned, in my mind.
I was playing devil's advocate, by the way, guys. I don't dislike Mamashvili, right? It's just like an emotional.
On Easter weekend, playing devil's advocate. How dare you?
is like an emotional response to how I felt when Allison walked through the door. And I was like, at that time, remember, it was like you signed Oblak, you signed Allison, and we upgrade again. And it was firm in my mind that was going to happen. And maybe I need to think more about who's number 2, because last season our number 2 is flipping outstanding for the past 3 years, right? And now I look at the goalkeeping department. It's going to be weaker than it was in previous years. I look at the centre back department. It's weaker than it was in previous years. And this is after us becoming champions.
But you're misunderstanding, because I'm thinking next season our number 2 goalkeeper will be Allison. Come on. Levels.
Nice.
Allison off the hospital bed. Right. Okay. Now, guys, I've really put you through it. Hour and 10 minutes. We've been going strong. Unlike Allison, he can't deal with the pace. We can't go yet though, because on Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. UK time, Liverpool will return to the scene of a famous triumph last season. We went there, got absolutely put through the mincer, and still came out of a 1-0 victory. Is this something that could happen again, Mr. Sandwich? Because when you look at some of our European results and performances, remember Milan away, remember what we did in several games this season in the Champions League. Is there a voice in your head that says, Sam, we can do this. We can be Champions League semi-finalists. We can get a result on Wednesday. Is that voice talking to you?
No. Like, do you know, like, and you'll remember the post Galatasaray. I think it was the 3 of us, and me and JWS were like, but Galatasaray are really poor, and we did what we needed to, but this is not the start of a new.
You really brought me down to earth, that pod, rightly so.
Rightly so. Like, they're a level. When Liverpool played good teams this year, we have not gotten a result. Like, that's just factual. So, like, PSG, a very good team. They got the extra day's rest. They're here moving games against Lens just to get the extra rest.
They're not a very good team. They're the outstanding team, right? Them and Munich.
They are the outstanding. Yeah, them and Bayern exactly. So I just no, like, it would need to be at our best to go toe-to-toe. And then I'd be really looking forward to it. And then I'd be like, oh, do you know what? Anfield second leg, it might be the 51% turner. We're not playing well enough to go toe-to-toe with PSG. And what we're showing is that once the first goal goes in, the heads sink. And if PSG do that and score early, then the heads will sink. That first leg last year, we'll talk about the previous question. We're talking about Allison had to make, 7-8 world-class saves. Remember, that's really, like I said, I think he's a very good shot stopper, but even for Allison, that was one of his peak performances. So, like, Mamadas really could make 7 good saves and concede 2, and then it just unfolds. I just don't want to. I really don't want us to get embarrassed so that we can at least go into the second leg. Let's go in with like something to play for in that second leg, because otherwise the noise and the atmosphere is just going to be really, really nasty, and I don't think that's going to help anyone. So, if we can get a positive result and not lose too badly on Wednesday, something to hold on to, then at least we can have a bit of delusion going into the Anfield second leg. But if we've lost by 3 or 4, then literally, what's the point of the second leg?
Not this time last year, maybe like 16 months ago, JWS, I was on my knees praying. You know what I was praying for? I was praying that we could sign Kavici Kvaratskhelia. I was like, all I want for Christmas is Kavici Kvaratskhelia. All I want for New Year's is Kavici Kvaratskhelia. Bring me Kavici, because it's been shown he has been the most outstanding forward signing, a most transformative signing in Europe in recent times. This man comes off the bench to kill teams. This man kills teams, then chills on the bench. PSV not only have him, they have Dembele. They have Doué. They have Barcola. They've got forwards in form who rotate and cause punishment, distress, and devastation wherever they go. When you look at the weapons they've got, who scares you most? And do you think Liverpool can escape from Parc des Princes with anything?
2 points.
Or was it Stade de France?
No, Parc des Princes. Stade de France. Stade de France is where the French national team play, built for the World Cup in 1998. Okay, so you in your opening monologue, you talked about, for this section, you talked about that place was the scene of a great triumph last season. It was also the scene of our third European Cup victory in 1981. Alan Kennedy.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Alan, he cuts in, left back, near post, bam. And guess who was guess he was left back for Liverpool. Guess who was left back for Real Madrid that day? Vincente Del Bosque. There you go.
I feel an optimism balloon inflating. Come on, talk about it, Double S.
So we have had good memories there. We've lifted big ears there, right? So what I'll say to you is this, right? So that's the first point. The second point, what was the question that you were talking about? You talk about Barcola, Desiree Doué, Dembele, Cabbage, all that kind of stuff. They were all there last season. Over 180 minutes. How many goals did they score against us? Just the one. Gifted to them by, you know who, Canate.
You did see what happened in that first leg.
No. I asked a simple question. I asked the question.
We played that match 9 times out of 10, Double S. We're coming home, tail between legs, 5-1, 4-0 defeat if we're lucky.
All I'm saying is that just as when we miss our chances, we don't get credit for missing chances, do we? We criticise our players for missing chances, do we not? Therefore, why can't I do the same thing? Fair's fair, right? So they only managed to score 1 goal, and it was gifted to them by Canate. So these guys aren't infallible, right? As rubbish as we are, don't get me wrong. The Chelsea were hanging with them in the first leg until the last 20 minutes when they just gave up, which we could do as well, of course. But what I'm saying, I watched the first half of the first leg. They were average. Chelsea were dealing with them. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is the only hope I'm giving us, because I'm thinking that, you know what, these are not. They're not the complete team. They're not the great balance, but I know they only need 10, 15 minutes to wipe the floor of us. So all we have to do is, if we've got sometime, maybe even curb our attacking instincts, and do what we did, like when we went to Arsenal. Because going to Arsenal is just as tough as going to Parc des Princes, in my opinion, right? This season,
absolutely not. I will not have you compare the two. Seriously?
Not stylistically, but in terms of, if you look at how hard it is to go to Emirates and get a victory this season, even last season, as much as you can talk about the rivalry, how much you don't like Arsenal, but you've got to give them some sort of credit. They're not bums, right? They're going to win the Premier League. So when we're going there and we put on I was surprised. We actually controlled the midfield, the second half and stuff. We weathered their storm. So this team, they can do it. I think if we try to go toe to toe for them, we're going to get smashed. I mean, but if we stink out the place, know our role, we can lead there with something. Then obviously at Anfield we can't get away with that. We have to go toe to toe and just see how it goes. Really, that's pretty much the only way I see us getting through this. But everybody's got to be on it defensively. There cannot be no loose runners. There cannot be. Everyone needs to know who they're marking. Just something, that kind of stuff. No bozo moments.
Do you think and it's all good points you raise. It needs to be solid. But do you think then it's to the point where they need to just batten down the hatches and just weather the storm a little bit, and then just try and take their chances on the break? Is that the kind of approach you'd go for if you're the manager?
Kind of. I wouldn't say batten down hatches in terms of inviting pressure. You still need to give something to go with. So we can't be like, like a relegation team, whatever. You have to kind of throw some punches, but you don't have to overload the attacks, as it were. So that's why Salah should not be starting. Yeah, that's where I would start with. Okay. Yeah, I would actually start with someone like Rio. Yeah, because he will have, because this idea of him bringing them on after 17 minutes or 80 minutes when we're 3 or 4-0 down. What is the point of that? Because we did it all season.
point.
Um,
At that point, yeah.
So we might as well give them something to think about, because they would have been watching tapes of us. They wouldn't be watching tapes of Rio or whatever, I'd imagine. So just go there and because we need him mainly as an outlet. Do you know what I mean? We need some basically. So obviously, if we get under pressure, he's an outlet, because where right now, Salah isn't an outlet because he can't beat anybody. And if we can pin back,
maybe he could be a super sub.
Salah, yeah, that's
So,
probably what I'll
Best
do.
chance, yeah.
Yeah.
PSG did play on the weekend. They beat Toulouse 3-1 at home. With Liverpool, I guess, keep it down to 2 goals. They've got nothing to lose, have they, Mr. Summage?
Oh my god! How long have you been waiting to use that one? That is.
I wrote it down 2 minutes ago. It's fine. What's my question here is, what do you think is an acceptable result that is recoverable?
With it being within 2 goals is recoverable. Just being realistic, it's recoverable. I don't think they're infallible either, but I'm also watching what we're doing. I'm just dealing in the reality of it. Like the players are clearly showing that they're not on it. So yeah, if we, like I said, Jenny, if we can go to Anfield within 2 goals and then you get an early goal, get a first half goal, and then you're within one goal, it's absolutely up for the taking. But yeah, if you get embarrassed by more than 2 goals in the first leg, then
yeah, PSG basically own the Premier League. Okay, so last season in spells, because we talk about Chelsea played really well. Chelsea lost the tie 8-2. Okay, so PSG attack ties in spells, and for 2-leg ties, they're very difficult because they press that turbo boost button, and what you thought was like an attainable target to contain them, it runs away from you very, very quickly. They go for firefights, right? And they're happy to concede chances and give up possession and have a few hairy moments, because they know once they bring their knives out, the fight, you're gonna get injured. And they've done it to every single English team: Villa, Chelsea, Spurs, eventually Liverpool, Arsenal. They've got our number. They
didn't annihilate us.
They annihilated us performance-wise in that first game. That's what I'm saying. And if that game plays out again, as it did last season, there's no way Liverpool coming out of that tie with it even anywhere near the balance. So I think Liverpool need to go into this match and do a degree of containment and maybe treat in phases. So the second half, they say, okay, now we're going to gamble a bit more, but they must not make that devastating spell occur in the first half, because they will not recover, I don't think. If I'm to give it like put a percentage against this, as I'm enjoying percentages this pod, I think Liverpool probably have like a early 20s percentage chance of coming through this tie, and 10% chance of getting a draw. I think that's how superior PSG are. Let's do scores. JWS, start with you for this Wednesday.
3-2 PSG.
I'll take that. I think it'll be 3-1. That's PSG. Yeah, so just to clarify.
we didn't think him the other way, of course.
Yeah. Wow. Imagine. I think PSG will bring their knives out for the party on Wednesday, and I think it's going to be 4-1. And I think that very quickly, the emotion stacking against the manager is going to unravel very quickly. I hope I'm wrong, of course. I never like to predict defeats, and I never even like to predict draws. But this is where we are, and I think you guys have been here, Mr. Sandwich.
Yeah.
And JWS, this is officially our longest ever LFC agenda pod.
Really?
And it's not because things are going that well. Make sure, as ever, you give us a follow, subscribe, and all that business on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, LFC Agenda Pod, and hit that notification bell on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or wherever you catch your podcasts. And give us a 5-star rating. I said a 5-star rating. Thanks, guys. Throwing up those 5 plays to me. Jay Thomas again for a 10-star rating. We'll take that. We'll take 5 or 10 chances conceded and fewer goals than that on Wednesday, won't we, at this point? But look, let's be optimistic and let's be hopeful, because without hope, what's the point, guys? We'll catch you soon.